directly against that. I was like, what the heck is going on? 3, 4 months down the road, I'm like, oh, wait a second. I put all my top ads in a chat GPT and it spits out.
I told you that there are so many opportunities that are going to reveal themselves in the world of AI, where the pundits are saying, "Oh, AI is coming to take your jobs," and you know, pushing this fear-based news concerning the assistance that AI is actually bringing. Today, I spent the whole day creating workflows to actually take some of the things that I do away from me so I can get to things that make money, right? You spend a lot of time editing videos or creating blogs and all of these things. And I spent my day foundationally, cut everything off and started to put in place where all of these things are automated so that the content machine is running day in, day out. This ability wasn't available to us several years ago. We would have had to either hire someone overseas, outsource the work, or get some of our children to try to help us, or just hire a whole department to help us to run. Now you can have a full-on media agency in your pocket, and there's no excuse unless you're just lazy. We have a book coming out, so it is important for me to have all of these things in place as we do the marketing for the book, as we're going to have to go on other podcasts. I can't spend hours in my day trying to edit podcasts that I've recorded to get them out to the public, even though it's necessary for me to do so we have to sit down and do these things. And yes, I could have outsourced it and got somebody to come in and did it for me, but I want to know, put my hands to the plow. Remember, we always talk about AI. It's not automation, but automation is a part of AI, right? A lot of people don't distinguish the two. But I want to discuss today for those of you who are thinking about entrepreneurial opportunities. I told you, I think we have a 2 year window where people can really, really learn. You have to accelerate your learning and then grow and then build. Just because my algorithm shows me all these people that are invested in AI, we do know that it's a small microcosm of people that are really, really doing it and doing it well, which means that there's opportunity for us to be thought leaders in that area. And today we're going to be talking to a thought leader who's built an agency that helps students, over 100,000, I believe, students, to reach the
25,000.
5,000. All right, sorry,
Soon to
25,000.
be 100.
Soon to be 100,000, 25,001, because I'm gonna go through the course myself. And he's killing it, and we're gonna have that conversation. So when you walk away today, you'll be able to really, really wrap your mind around what he's been able to build, scale, and present to the world. My name is Noran Tillman. This is another episode of Walk in Victory, where we sit you at the feet of the masters and have conversations purposeful to help you evolve your life. Today's master is Sam. Sam, how are you, sir?
I'm doing very good. Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here.
No, thank you for joining us. You run a busy life. You have a whole lot happening. How has AI changed and transformed your life from personal to business?
Well, and I mean, I would say in business in every way imaginable. Just as you were saying, a couple years ago I had 30 employees. I ran an advertising agency. Now I have 12 with the AI Professionals University, and we are producing 10 times more than we were with 30 employees. And it fascinates me every day. There's just so much, every step of the way we're using AI. It's just phenomenal.
Were you on the fence at first? What was your entry point? Were you one of those that like, oh, let me sit down and wait and see, or were you like really gun ho in the early investor?
Well, as soon as Midjourney came out, the image generator, I started playing with it. I was using it for ads. Then ChatGPT came out, and considering I was an experienced copywriter and had copywriters hired for me, I told myself, well, no, we don't need to use it for ad copy. I was using it for data analysis, and then I was using Midjourney. But lo and behold, my advertising company with six media buyers, three or four people on the creative team, we were getting beat by solopreneurs who were using ChatGPT. And then all of a sudden, our costs were rising. We were competing directly against them. I was like, what the heck is going on? 3, 4 months down the road, I'm like, oh, wait a second. I put all my top ads in a ChatGPT and it spits out, 100 ads in a couple of minutes. And that's when I realized, like, look, I've got to either become the best at this or I'm going to go out of business. And I almost did.
Yeah, so let's we don't li- I don't like to highlight failures but personal journeys is important. When you had that revelation, one, did you push back first and say, because you're an excellent copywriter, so it's the writer in you that's saying, I'm not going to cheat. Right? Was that an inner battle that you had to go through?
Well, I certainly thought there's no way that an AI can do it better. I thought that I had a lot of hesitation. Took me, I knew about ChatGPT for 6 or 7 months before I even attempted to write copy. And then I started using it for copy. And still, it took me a couple months to figure out the right way of using AI in
Mhm.
order to get better copy than what I was doing.
Yeah, so that's the important part. Where I first started using ChatGPT, I was like, why is everybody going so crazy about it, right? It just spits out, it looks like a glorified Google. That's how. And then I learned engineering, and I stopped using just the word prompt engineering, because that those the engineering terms have evolved so much, from just basic prompts to content to context to it has various subheadings towards engineering. But you really have to kind of put on an engineering hat in order to get the best out of the agent. What was your steps like to put that engineering hat? Because you already have the content writing hat, so
Yeah.
copywriting hat. So what did that look like? The evolution of you now becoming a general in the engineering realm.
Well, it's as they say, garbage in, garbage
Garbage
out.
out.
And so I would say the first real step I took into getting phenomenal results from ChatGPT was I would take my top ads, I would put the cost per click, I would put the cost per purchase and the ROA of all of these ads. And so I'd have 100 ads in an Excel sheet of my top ads. And I would even do this with my competitors' ads. In fact, I did this with over 1,000 ads at one point. And I would put it in a ChatGPT and say, look, based on the patterns here, you know, give me the principles of the top ads and then write me 20 ads that you think will outperform. And so, I mean, that was one small thing that I've done. I've done hundreds of things like that, but that's a small example of what you can use ChatGPT for, in addition to uploading your creatives and getting insights that humans, I mean, perhaps in our subconscious, we can come to some sort of discoveries like that. But ChatGPT will will look at this, come to these discoveries and explain the thought process and principles of why they're doing it. So it kind of helps you work it out in your own mind because as humans we also are ultra powerful. We have this super intelligence in us. Sometimes we come to ideas and don't really understand the science behind it. So it's been immensely helpful for pattern recognition, and scientific discovery.
So now you fast forward, you went through that process, and now you're in there. When did you realize that starting this next business was something that was going to be lucrative for you, as you once said, almost going out of business and having to really be thrusted overboard in order to actually swim to shore?
I remember it to this day. It was about 13 months ago. I had just built an ice bath company. and I was also thriving with my advertising company. But I was doing it all with AI, and it was really just me and a couple other people at that point. And then I was just I remember the thought popping into my head because I was having my clients and friends asking me, "Oh, can you show me what you're doing?" And a few of them had paid me $5,000, and I helped them use AI. And so I used to have a Facebook advertising company where I would train people, and so I just came, it just popped into my head like that. I'm why don't I just teach people how to use AI? In fact, I actually had another company before this called vidlabs.ai. Since I had an advertising company, what we were doing, so it's like 16 months ago, 16 to 18 months ago, we were of course using AI to make videos for our advertising. This is the tech was not even close to where it is right now. But that was a company that I'd started and I just didn't see the traction that I wanted. So I was like, okay, why don't I just teach people how to use AI in general? And so that's what I did. And believe it or not, it took me 4 or 5 months to get profitable. It's a competitive industry. But once we got it, it's one of those things where when you enter into a growing industry, you've got a tailwind. But if you're in a shrinking industry, you're facing a headwind.
Yeah, yeah, because there's so many people that's already out in the forefront and championing the message, and that that's where we find the competition, because people are creatures of habit. Once they lock into a person that's training them, even if the training is not good, they love them.
Yeah.
So it took you about 4 months to build. When you started to build out up and out, how fascinated were you at the fact? Because sometimes building a business could take 4 to 5 years to be profitable.
Well, it's been a journey. I would say that when I say we got profitable, I mean profitable with ads on the front end. As a
Okay, okay,
company,
okay.
yeah, as a company, we're just about over that limit. Like, I've invested a lot of money into this company. So we still to date, the company hasn't made profit. We're investing $25,000 a week into
Mm.
the training. And we've done sales. We ran at 20, 30 grand a day at break even or below, just to get customer feedback and whatnot. But so it right now though, we are doing absolutely better than ever. And we did over 150 sales yesterday. And then the other day we hit our limit. It was the biggest sales day we've ever had. We did 882 sales in one day. And we had to pause because we were doing a pre-sale on this new course that we have. We just released it, and it's just making viral images, videos. We've got the most thorough course on viral images and videos. And what I've done is I took all of the data and ads that I've collected over 10 years, and we're giving it to our students. In addition to, a big file, a 10 gigabyte file of all of the ads that we have so that they can train AI and get, viral ads, posts, and videos.
When you look at the landscape of your collective work, now you actually have a brain that can process your work and really bring it back to life. I'm pretty sure there's some things or some ads that would kill it that you just forgot about, and as you was combing through and you was like, oh man, I remember, right? So
Yeah.
how does that make you feel, like you're not using someone else's work? And this is I'm really want to amplify this to the audience, because some people are afraid of AI. We have pundits saying it is the devil and all this other stuff. But you were able to really now take your brain and put it into this agent, and now the agent takes the best part of your works and spit out a new creation from what it is that you're, and now you're able to share really of what you've done, your collective work with the world. How does that make you feel when you really sit down and think about it?
Extremely excited. It's a process of going through iterations. It's the cycle of business. It's you test something, it either works or it doesn't, and you remake it. You test something, then you go through the cycle over and over. And what AI does is it allows you to go through that cycle 100 times faster. So it's just been amazing. Every day is extremely exciting. It's been so long since I've, gotten out of bed in the morning because I wanted to, because I'm like, wait, what's going to happen next? And that's the stage that we're at because, we're I have my sister managing the education team, but I work with her very, very closely. And so every day, we've got four people who are researching the latest tech and whatnot, so I got a lot of exciting things going on. They come to me, they're showing me what they've discovered because things are coming out every day.
Mhm.
And so I'm learning that, and then I'm taking that. I'm working with my four people who are doing the videos, and then we're using that tech to make cooler videos. And it's just, I mean, it's so exciting. And then we've got all, we're in addition to that, we're building software. We're building our own AI video and image generator, using APIs and training it on our data. So I've got those three things going on that are just extremely fascinating, exciting, and feel immensely grateful to. I mean, it certainly was a tough 12 months building this business, breaking into a business with with competitors who are worth hundreds of millions of dollars. It was like David against Goliath. So I'm here and I'm going nowhere.
Well, I like that. Well, another fascinating thing about your life, to me, especially with the with the fears. Again, all of these millionaires are built out of other people's fears, right? We have all of these fears about healthcare and the healthcare prices going up. And another thing that you're involved in is like telemed. If you don't mind, talk a little bit about that and why are you so passionate about that and how it can help the average listener right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So I am like down to, I would say I'm 210 pounds right now, but about 2 years ago, I was 265. My
Hmm.
blood pressure was through the roof. And so then I got on Ozempic and I lost, it was like 40 pounds over a period of like 4 or 5 months. And I mean, that was after years of doing everything to lose weight. But, so at that point, I was like, you know what can I do to get involved in this and help people, live a healthier life and lose weight, so effectively. And I thought about it and I actually got a job offer to be a CEO of a telehealth company. I didn't get along with the guy. So I got the phone. I told my wife, I'm like, look, I'm gonna start my own company. I didn't like this guy. And she's like, "Well, how are you gonna do that?" And then I finally like gave up on it. But then I because it was super far out of reach. But just one thing led to another. I just was talking to people. I knew some people in the pharmaceutical industry, and so I'm like, it's actually not that hard to get a license. So I just pieced it all together. That was another company that I put together 18 months ago, and for the first 13 months, we didn't even do any revenue. So we just went live about 4 months ago. We're doing extremely well. And that company as well is fully automated by AI.
Hmm. So
Well, not fully, but I
yeah,
mean, for the most part, I mean, as automated as you can get.
yeah. So you bring two of your passions together, and
You know.
and you're able to generate income. When did you get the entrepreneurial bug? When did you know that that was who you are?
Well, I'm certainly not an entrepreneurial natural. I was in sales for a long time.
Okay.
I yeah, I became an entrepreneur not by choice, but by necessity. I was as again, I was working in sales for the longest time, and then I became a copywriter because I like writing. So I was writing ads for people, and of course I had clients, and I'm not going to go work for a company to have clients. And anyways, the clients that I had were making a ton of money in e-com and affiliate marketing. And I was working hand in hand with them, helping them increase their sales. So, we became really good friends, the clients. I'm still friends with them today. And they, introduced me to people. They showed me the ropes. It was really, when I provided that value up front, it was really easy for them to return the favor for me. And to this day, my best friend is the guy who got me into the affiliate marketing industry.
When you think about all that you've accomplished over the course of time, coming from the sales background, pivoted into You've coined the phrase that this is the age of abundance, where most people are walking with their head down, afraid of losing and not taking risk. I want to dive into that as we so we can encourage somebody. How do you see this as an age of abundance and not an age of lack? I just
I think
pulled out my preacher hat. Tell me, brother.
no, I think that's just absolutely the best question you could ask, and I think I probably have the best answer that you could hope for. And the truth is that we are in an age of abundance and infinite opportunity. And the thing is these fear-based narratives, they're what sell. These news stations, they and the social media posts algorithms, they all have one goal, and that's to get as many likes, shares, and views as possible. And there's two different ways that you can do that. You can do that through, well, there's one really, it's through emotion, and you can do that through fear, and you can do that through hope. And it is much easier to do that through fear than it is through hope. Now, the reason for that is because the majority of people live with a scarcity mindset. We all inhibit a little bit of a scarcity and abundance mindset every so often in our lives. However, some of us are predominantly one or others. Now, people like me and you, we live in an abundance mindset because we know there's plenty, there's enough to go around. People who live in a scarcity mindset, it's reasonable. I've been there. I'm sure you have too. And
Yeah.
the reason why the reason why is like, we deal with all these failures and these setbacks, and it's easy to get in our own head and think, okay, this is the way life is. Life is tough. There's gonna be constant, failures and failures and failures. And it's hard to see outside of that box when you haven't experienced it, right? But the way that we expand our mind, because it's hard to just tell people like, look, you have more opportunity than you ever have. Some people will actually take that offensive, right? Especially somebody who's been struggling. But I mean, it's an objectable fact that anybody, absolutely anybody, can earn 20 times more money than they could, at any period in history. Anybody, literally anybody, even with an elementary school education, could become a millionaire right now just with a chat GPT account. It's not about having the tools, it's about knowing how to use them. So, bottom line is, it all starts changing your mindset. I mean, it doesn't happen overnight. It can, but typically how this happens is you start with a small success. I mean, this is how it happened with me because I as well. I've had my ups and downs. I've lost everything 4 times, and so every time that happens, we all fall back into that scarcity mindset. Oh, it's a bad economy. AI is automating everything. So it's just a story we tell ourselves. And so it all starts with, you first having small achievements, small. Well, there's two ways you can do it. One, by reading, educating yourself on the latest information like this podcast, but two, by having small achievements, first small wins. And then, those wins compound on each other. Next thing you know, you're making 5,000 a week and, you're like, wow, anything is possible. And then, you're building a multi-million dollar company.
My book, Awakening I Am, Internal Awareness in the AI Age, we talked just about that. And I'm showing how the engineering, whether it's context engineering, prompt engineering, or whatever things that we use to help AI assist us, is the same thing that we do to the supercomputer that existed before AI, our subconscious mind. And scarcity mindset comes from the same place that an abundant mindset comes from. A scarcity mindset prompts itself to be scared. An abundant mindset prompts itself to be abundant. And it's the same thing with AI, right? Someone is sitting at their computer right now, hearing all of this stuff you're talking about. You automate your whole business and you've done all of these things, and they're like, I can't even get my chat to give me a blog. And they're
Yeah.
arguing. Go ahead, go ahead.
Ask, ask and you shall receive.
Yeah,
It's like the closed mouth doesn't get fed.
yeah. And they're arguing. I remember I was sitting there with the agent, and I'm like, man, you know what? I'm not gonna use this one no more. I'm gonna use Claude. And I'm like, the same problem. It doesn't matter where what house I moved into, the same problems was there because it wasn't the agent. It was the prompter. And it's the same thing with our mindset. It doesn't matter what house we move to. It doesn't matter what city we move to. It doesn't matter who's in office. It doesn't matter what's going on socially around us. If we don't change the prompter, we're going to get the same results.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Wherever you are, there you are. Something there's some quote like that.
Yeah,
Wherever you are, there you
yeah.
wherever you go, there you are. There you
There
go.
you are. There's a great philosophical story that I heard, and he said there was a sage older man sitting on a stoop, and this new couple moved into the community, and he they asked him, "Hey, sir, you look like a nice man. Well, tell us what kind of community is this?" He said, "Well, tell me about the community that you was at when you left." And he said, "Oh man, it was muggers and robbery, and it was noisy, and there's parties and all." He said, "You'll find them people here." Same guy, new people came down the street. Hey, same question. Tell me what people. Oh, there was loving family group sessions, and we all went to church together. We kids played together. You'll find those people here because you are gonna attract who you are.
Yep.
You're gonna attract who you are, and that's just the reality of what it is. I couldn't fake having this conversation with you if I wasn't in the trenches trying to do it myself. Right? It wouldn't be a conversation. It would be more of a query. Like I'm trying to pick your brain, but I can have a conversation with you, and we can dig deep into a conversation because this is something that I'm passionate about. And one of the first things that I had to learn about podcasting, same thing with podcasting. The prompts that you put in is the information that you're going to get back. Is to only have conversations that I'm passionate about.
Yeah, I think it's certainly I've spent a long time and read a lot of books researching the scarcity and abundance mindset. And the reason why is because I think it's a tragic thing. I've seen my family members and friends suffer from it. And what it leads to is where it arises from, it's actually the fixed mindset. It's the fixed versus growth mindset. So some people have the belief that we have fixed abilities and fixed opportunities. Basically, it's fixed. And then the other people have the mindset that we have the ability to grow. So even if we're not where we need to be, we know we can grow in order to get there. And so those are the two things which separate the fixed mind or the abundance and the scarcity mindset. And so the people with the scarcity mindset, it leads to all sorts of negative interactions, experiences, and emotions, and primarily envy and jealousy. And
Yeah,
so, and there's no need to get envious and jealous. Successful people, they want to be around successful
that's what
people
people.
because they grow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's funny that you use a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. And I'll let you have the last say after this because I teach mindfulness and yoga, meditation, all that stuff. But some years ago, they were teaching us that after a certain age, the brain just doesn't develop. After these are the primal years of brain development. So we were taught that this is this is how it is. And even if you look back in the thinking age, the great thinkers, Aristotle, Plato, and all of those guys. If you were born into a family that didn't have money, there was no way for you to dig out of that hole. You were born into that family. That's how they saw you because they had this fixed mindset. Now here it is, these sages, these are the greatest thinkers of our time, had this fixed mindset. So your dad was a plumber, you're gonna be a plumber. Right? And we passed this mindset down. We passed this mindset down. Right before he died, saw it differently. But that work is not because he was much older and really losing it. And that work is not really seen as much. But he said that people will only go as far as their opportunities because he thought that he was teaching that rich people didn't steal. And he found out that rich people do steal. And people will go as far as their opportunities, rather good in the realm of good or in the realm of evil. And you, Brother Sam, has taken your opportunities and taken it to a whole nother level. And I really appreciate the time we had today.
Well, I'll end with, people only go as far as their opportunities, and on the same hand, those opportunities are what we perceive. Perception is, observation is creation, and perception is reality.
Yes, yes. Then there you have it, everybody. I told you that we sit you at the feet of the masters. This has been another masterclass here at Walk in Victory. All of Sam's company information is in the description. Come on, let's get that number from 25 to 100,000. You need to get this information. You don't have to go at it on your own. Watching YouTube videos is only going to get you into a place of frustration and into a place of quitting. We don't want we're not building quitters. We're building victory walkers. Sam is now a part of the Walk in Victory family. Go to the website, follow him on social media, soak up all of the information, join that course and learn, because this is a great opportunity. Even if not for you, you may have a young man or young woman that doesn't want to go to college, and they can change their life by just spending the next 3 to 6 months learning this stuff. And it may not even take that long, because young people learn faster than me. But take that opportunity. Listen, we don't ask you for cash apps, Venmos, or any of those things, but what we do ask is that you hit like, subscribe, and share. And if you're listening on a platform where you can leave a comment, please do so. walkinvictory.me is our website. If you're listening and you're following on LinkedIn, or follow me on LinkedIn, or all of any of our social handles, we want to build those things up. And that's your currency to us as we provide the best for you. Don't walk with your head down. Don't walk making excuses. Don't walk in a scarcity mindset or a fixed mindset. But together, let's walk in abundance as we walk in victory. Enjoy the rest of your day. Peace. There we go.